Welcome to Wrestling Without, where every side is the dark side of the ring. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at hard4wrestling. Email questions and complaints at wrestlinggetstarted@gmail.com. My name is Jim. Hello. Brandon, hello. How are you?
I'm good. The best I've been in a while. How are you doing, Jim?
Feeling good. Feeling motivated. Feeling full. Ate some dinner. I'm ready to go. I'm fucking fired up. Let's talk about some wrestling that we couldn't watch. Chris, how are you?
I'm wonderful. I took a ride down the shore and almost on the way purchased a flag that said, just for Brandon, that said, "Let's go, Brandon." It was a NASCAR flag.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know that flag guy?
Yeah, flag dude.
Sure, yeah.
You mean the one on Route 47?
Yeah. And the only flag I saw was "Let's go, Brandon." NASCAR.
I got a little bit of that memorabilia. I won't lie to you guys. A little bit of that memorabilia. I bring it out. It's stuffed back in the corner of my closet.
It's the only time in history where your name is going to be front and center in the political debate. It's never happening again. You might as well grab onto it.
Exactly.
Well, if you guys remember, too, we've had a conversation numerous times on when do MAGA hats become ironic? I think "Let's Go Brandon's" already there.
Almost. We got to wait for the old man to die first.
Ooh, I did.
I bought one of those.
Was that gonna be the bar?
Before you go, Chris, I bought one of those bumper stickers of the NASCAR "Let's Go Brandon," and just stuck it on the back passenger side of my friend's truck, like where he would never enter from or exit from that side. And I think it was like four weeks later, he finally texted me. He's like, "Dude, I've been driving around with this for a month now."
I see a lot of them.
I don't say I'm ever. Chris, you were going to say?
No, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, that was it. Took a ride. Let's go, Brandon. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Yeah. We got there was so much great professional wrestling this weekend. And we can't watch any of it because it was all on pay-per-view. And we have to wait like 4 weeks. So we're just going to talk about some of it, but have no
You spent
insight
$20
whatsoever.
on a pay-per-view, didn't you?
I did not. No, thank
okay.
God. We will get to that. No, we will get to that. Thank fucking God I didn't do it. All right, let's just talk about some stuff. You guys ready?
Let's do it.
Yeah. First of all reports I did not watch. I don't know if you guys did. Maybe you have some insight. AEW Dynamite sucked. Brandon, did you watch?
No, I just did the Twitter clips. I heard it was like one of the worst episodes in a long time. So,
Chris?
I had it on at work. I didn't really watch. I tried to watch Jeff Jarrett act like a jackass. Didn't see much of it. I did see one thing that people were really complaining about. I shouldn't say really complaining. I saw some complaints about, but this is something that to me, I don't know how anybody complains about this. And that was Saraya spray painting an L on Toni Storm's butt, and then Toni Storm slamming her butt into another woman's face. And people felt that was just wrong, wasn't good. What? And I was very confused by that because I was sitting in a bar with a bunch of dudes as usual, and I didn't hear any of them complaining about that at all.
But then again, you watch it without sound. I don't know what it sounded like. It sounded awful visually. You're probably like, I mean, I've said it before. One of the most homoerotic things to watch without sound is The Undertaker pinning someone, laying his crotch across someone and his hands up in like a push-up position, his tongue out, his eyes back. If you don't know what's going on, you're thinking he's like, oh.
Well, Jimmy, you remember that one time he beat up Randy Orton and he was in his face like, "I'm gonna get you.
I'm gonna fucking make."
And we were watching it like, whoa, what's going on here, guys?
I'm gonna make out with you. I'm gonna kiss you.
I think I looked at you and was like, "I'm gonna kiss you.
I'm gonna kiss you so hard.
Kiss your face."
So there you go. Yeah. We last week we took a look at the card and said that it looked like it sucked. And sometimes we're proven wrong. And this time we were sadly proven right, I guess. It was not very good. Brandon, any final thoughts?
No, I did. The one thing that Chris brought up was Jeff Jarrett looked like he was having a good time the week that his dad died in true pro wrestling fashion, still getting out there in the ring. So appreciate that.
You know, it's funny. I was listening to a podcast and somebody had mentioned that, and Jeff Jarrett had told the person that he was sitting in the hospital room with his father after his father died. They were in whatever room they were in, and his mother looked at him and said, "What time's your plane takeoff?"
Mm-hmm. Got to work.
And his response was, what? And the thought process, and you know what the funny thing about that is? My dad would do that. Like, I don't care. Go to work. Go make money. So, you know, I mean, you got to make your dates, I guess, right? You have an obligation. That's the mindset.
Workers.
What are you going to do? You're going to sit at home and you're going to sit at home and stare at the walls?
Yeah, that's what I know.
I've dealt with death and going to work that day, and it worked out well for my psyche. Let me tell you.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. Any final thoughts on Jeff Jarrett or Jerry Jarrett, who's dead? R.I.P.
He's dead.
Before I left,
I did say last week this. I was like, well, someone will die, and we'll have something to talk about. And then they did show up, but it didn't kill that much time. We can move on.
No. Let's see. So, some internet drama. So, WWE Elimination Chamber happened over the weekend. Brandon, did you watch?
Of course. No, I did not.
Chris, did you watch?
Negative.
Okay. So they, the new thing now is that they have these pressers after shows. Of course, the most famous presser being Tony Khan sitting there while CM Punk loses fucking cool, starts screaming, yelling about working with children. Well, this time around, so they got this Ariel Helwani guy who interviewed Tony Khan, a few months ago, and it just turned into a mess between the two of them. It just was a weird fucking situation. You get in this weird work shoot thing where like the people that are there are just happy to be there, so they're asking fucking lazy ass questions to each other. Well, Tony Khan and Ariel Helwani both are feuding with each other now on social media, which is preposterous. But more importantly, not friend of the show, but someone we reference a lot, another man with the name Brandon, let's go Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics, ask a pointed question, an actual question. What's going on with the sale of WWE to Triple H during these fucking softball, I'm just happy to be here questions? He gets kind of a terse answer from Triple H, basically saying that's got nothing to do with me. That's not my job. Brandon, thoughts? Are we ever going to, the question being, are we ever going to see Brandon Thurston at one of these things ever again? I don't know if he's ever going to be invited again. Go ahead.
You talked about this before. One of your big annoyances with the wrestling media is that you never actually get a response or a question of any worth from them. It's softball city, and it just becomes a waste of time, much like the in-game sports interviews with coaches and stuff. It's just complete garbage. So I hope we see more of them. I didn't mind the Ariel Helwani thing. As ridiculous as it is, I think stuff like that kind of keeps pro wrestling entertaining. I saw more of potential wrestling beef on my Twitter than I usually do, so I'm not mad about that.
Chris, thoughts?
Yeah, I saw the answer. I don't know that I found that it's that terse. I thought it was just kind of short to the point. They're obviously not going to. He's not going to talk about that to anyone. I'm sure everybody's been told don't speak of this. The Ariel Helwani thing, which was funny, that started because Ariel Helwani had Tony Khan on and then said it was the worst podcast interview he had ever done.
Who said that?
Ariel Helwani said it about Tony Khan. I didn't listen to it. I only know it's secondhand what happened, but I know he asked about the CM Punk backstage crap, the fight, and Tony Khan wouldn't answer it. I would assume couldn't answer it. There's probably all kinds of legal. They were afraid they were going to get sued. Don't say anything to anybody. Keep your mouth shut. It makes perfect sense. And Ariel Helwani, being the professional that he was, had no pivot. He didn't know what else to ask. And he just froze. But Tony Khan made a tweet that Ariel Helwani was in the front row at Elimination Chamber or SmackDown, and he kind of got mad at him.
I don't know what's going on. I guess Ariel Helwani,
really
it's coming out that Ariel Helwani's an on-air personality now, I guess similar to Ryan Satin, where they work for WWE and they also report, quote unquote, the news.
Yeah. Well, once
they made a joke about Tony Khan being, I didn't see any of this because I don't watch WWE and I don't really fucking care. But when it spills in AEW, I start to care a little bit. And they called him Snowman.
Yeah, it was on Twitter.
Which
referred to him as a snowman.
These are some of the, where do these guys come up with these terrible insults?
I don't know.
These fucking WWE drones that love it are just going to be using Snowman all the time. It's like Soy Boy and all those other dumb, weird fucking nicknames that just stick on. Ron DeSantimonious. What are we doing? Who wrote these? A grandpa? Vince. That's who wrote it. Brandon good.
You know who was good at that? Trump. He's probably the king of the nicknames in his
He was
day.
the first one with this desanctimonious. That's fucking terrible.
Was that him?
Yeah.
I never heard that one. Desanctimonious. Ted's dog wife. Some of that shit's kind of funny. I mean, we've tiptoed on this right wing shit now for a little while. We could stay away from it, but I thought the Ariel Helwani, like he's been doing this thing in the MMA world as of late, where he's kind of calling out shit that's unprofessional and laying into it, which I think has done well for the overall thought process around MMA fandom, which is probably, if not worse than wrestling, right next to it. And when I first saw the Tony Khan thing, I was like, okay, this is probably in a similar vein where we spent hundreds of hours at this point talking about how AEW is unprofessional in many different ways, and it made sense for him to do that. The WWE thing, I don't really care. I mean, you're not going to get anything out of them whether he did or not. So it's two completely different things. I get that people want to make that comparison, but it's just it's not there in my mind.
Chris, final thoughts?
I don't know, like what Brandon just said though. Like he would do, and I know what Ariel Helwani does. What you're talking about, where he will call out bullshit when it comes to the UFC, and that's good. I mean, that's what you want. You want somebody to do that. If you're a fan, if you're wrapped up in that world. The problem with that then becomes if you get called out for going to you make a statement that the Tony Khan podcast was the worst interview I'd ever done. Fine. That was just a statement of how you felt about that interview. You didn't go any further. When Tony Khan makes a comment about you going and showing up at a WWE event and being in for the front row, and you refer to him as the snowman, you now take that low road. Now, you calling anybody out for anything they're doing that you don't agree with or you think is wrong has now been torpedoed because you're on that level now. The thing to do in that situation is to just shut the fuck up and let these people talk into the wind. As soon as you get into an argument on social media, whether both parties or the 1,000 parties that are in the argument, as soon as you start to come back at people like that, you have immediately delegitimized yourself. You just got to fucking let it go.
You're down in the muck with them.
Yeah, I'm not a big Stephen Colbert fan. But when you mentioned Trump, he tweeted about Trump and Trump responded and he said, and he was right. He says, don't you understand? As soon as you respond to me, I have now won. You got to just ignore these things. And now you're getting this tit for tat over bullshit and we all know who the level of a lot of the people that are paying attention to what you're saying and taking sides on an argument like this, you know what you're dealing with.
I knew I should have never taken Risa Sarah out of her package.
Why is that?
Piece just chipped off her.
Oh, no.
Fuck. Damn it. It's heartbreaking. I got to figure out where it is and glue it back on. Hopefully it's not her hair. No, it isn't. Okay. Okay. How do I get back on track after having my heart broken? New Japan Battle in the Valley happens. I had mentioned that we can't watch it because it was a pay-per-view. It was $20. They almost had me. I started watching the pre-show. Really wanted to see what happened between Bobby Fish and that giant sweaty bald man. It looked like trying to get porn on your cable channel in the 90s, hitting the AB button with the squiggly lines through it. I quickly changed my mind. Apparently, the entire Fight TV stream was soundless for some parts. Other parts, the crowd noise sounded like it was recorded on a different microphone, so it sounded really far away as opposed to, Fight TV. What are we doing here? Brandon, thoughts?
Tissue paper thin. The difference between Fight TV and a middle school AV production. It's a good reminder, I guess, of pro wrestling, unless how close it is to just completely breaking down at all points behind the scenes. I think we saw it for a moment there. That's my only thought.
The crazy thing is that New Japan Pro Wrestling usually puts on a fantastic product. Their television style is unique. It's been the same way for 40 years. When you're watching New Japan Pro Wrestling. They brought their own crew in. Apparently, this was their crew. Now this is probably the fourth New Japan show that's been aired from overseas on Fight TV that has looked like fucking trash. There was 2 in England. There was the one in New York, and now there's this one. Hey, who's responsible for this? Is this Fight TV? I mean, I don't know. Like,
sounds like it's New Japan, right? It's probably they're bringing some minor league level equipment over there, trying to run it as cheaply as possible and continuing to break down because they're not making that much money going on the road.
Right. But I mean, the first 3 were local talent that did it. Like, who's the guy pushing the button that says this is okay? Like, I don't get it.
Gato.
He's got the book and the production. This just.
So this was the first time it broke as New Japan kind of running their own.
Yeah. I don't know about like who's satellite or whatever. I'm assuming it's Fight TV. I don't know. And they got to use local union guys too for a lot of this shit.
Yeah, exactly. It's probably the same shit where it's like, I don't know, if you just walk down the income statement of just like the revenue coming in the door and how big of an expense it is to film and broadcast something like that. They're like, just keep this as low as possible. We're only making $8,000 anyway.
I mean, they did
barely make sense.
They did have matches with fucking Bobby Fish in them and Homicide. You know what I mean? Like they refused to pay Hiroki Goto to come over. They couldn't have Yoshihashi on this fucking card.
That's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is. It's like that if the flight's $2,000.
Yeah, they paid Bobby Fish and JR Kratos less, at least $1 less than the cost of the flight coming over.
That's the exact math in their head. They're going, what does it cost? What do we have to pay Yoshihashi plus a flight versus what do we have to pay JR Kratos?
I'm willing to bet. You know, I have nothing to base this on, pure speculation. But I'm willing to bet that if you look at all like the homicide, Bobby Fish, who other guys on this card that you don't know or haven't seen in forever or really don't care about, all these guys on the card, they probably, all of them together probably cost less than Yoshihashi, his flight over, and his hotel, all combined.
Right.
He probably got them all for less than it was going to cost one guy to come over.
Makes sense, but it's just, I don't know. And that, this was not a card. We went over it last week. There was this is like a 10-match card. I think it was maybe 3.5 matches that we gave a shit about. One was more for the stipulation with Jay White.
Tie.
Yeah, we're giving a little bit too much credit. Let's go through the card real quick. So, of the stuff that mattered, okay, mind you, we did not watch this because I'm not paying for it. Eddie Kingston versus Jay White. Eddie Kingston wins. Jay White gets beaten up by, it's totally blanking on me. Oh, David Finlay with a shillelagh. Jay White's out of New Japan, whatever that means.
What's a shillelagh?
It's like an Irish walking stick.
His old man used to bring it down to the ring with him in WCW.
Yeah, he's got one.
Fucking stick.
Hey,
that's what that's called. Okay.
Shillelagh. Yeah, it's spelled Shigalaga.
Shigalaga. It's all the G's. You ever seen it written?
Shigalaga. Shigalaga.
It took me till I was like 20 to realize that hors d'oeuvres was hors d'oeuvres.
Hors d'oeuvres. Very nice.
So that stuff jams me up. Please continue.
Now, so we don't know where he's going. I'm not going to speculate where he's going, if he's going anywhere at all. Juice Robinson was supposedly leaving New Japan Pro Wrestling. He was on the show. He interfered in this match. So I don't fucking know. I don't really care. We'll talk about that in a little bit because this whole Jay White thing is just secondary. This is a guy that I'm going to go on a little rant here. This is a guy that when we came out of fucking Wrestle Kingdom in 2019, 2020, whenever the fuck it was, right? No, 2021, right after the pandemic, right after he loses, he goes on this huge fucking rant. He's got this great promo. You're like, oh my God, this guy's the limit with this fucking guy. Then he disappears. He's not wrestling forever. He's just posting videos of himself and his hot girlfriend on a fucking farm, raising sheep. Maybe he's happier doing that. Brandon, thoughts?
This is a thing. This is one of the many, potential pitfalls that separate people from being in that S tier pro wrestler, right? He's got a little bit of money now, and I don't blame these guys. You know, you can now live comfortably, and maybe that's what he feels like doing. You know, probably part of the discussion we just had about why Homicide's there is because they're like, well, Jay White's already in America because he doesn't give a fuck. We're not going to have to pay him for any of his flights. He's the main event of the show. We don't need to send a supporting cast over. And that's what you get from this. Yeah. I don't want to say like quite a fall from grace, but you could definitely sense a lack of interest from Jay White at this point, I think.
Chris, good.
Yeah, I don't really have anything to add. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Also, not the main event of this show. This is like match. This is fifth from the top. Yeah.
As far as people that would be exciting to people. Yeah.
Right.
Like that'd be one of the reasons why you bought a ticket.
Right. No, because we didn't know it until a week ago that this was a loser leaves New Japan Pro Wrestling match.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No,
the Mercedes Moné is why you bought the ticket.
No, I'm just saying
one
of the reasons that's okay. Oh yeah, that's good. Okay, I'm glad.
Say like what I'm trying to say is like New Japan's, if they're having a show, say they give every name on their roster like an assigned star rating or value to a card, a number. Like Jay White's an 8 out of 10. They make sure that the whole card has a total of like a certain number of value of like this is worth paying for. He's a big addition to that. He's a huge boost to the overall value of the card. If Jay White's there, now they can send 3 less tertiary characters.
Right. Yeah. Point understood. I got you.
If that made sense.
No,
Jim,
no.
you ever been called tertiary?
I have been called tertiary before. Chris, go ahead. Your thoughts? Any thoughts on this?
I got nothing for you. You can move on.
All right. So Jay White, we don't know what's happening. Let's see. What else do we want to talk about? Nothing really. Oh, wait. IWGP Women's Title match. Kairi, the champ, loses to Mercedes Moné. She comes out in Hana Kimura gear, which had me all fucking emotional. I will not be able to watch this match. It's 20. They gave him 27 fucking minutes though, which is like the perfect number for a start. That's the Stardom number for championship matches. They go about 27 minutes. 27 minutes. I can't wait to watch it. I've seen some highlights. It looks pretty fucking good. People are going crazy for it. Brandon, thoughts?
You said you wouldn't be able to watch it, or you're not?
No, we can't watch it yet. We can't. You got to pay $20 to watch it.
Okay, I assume this was going to come on New Japan World at some point soon, but
in 2 weeks it'll be on probably.
Okay.
For now, we're going in with no review.
Yeah, I'll leave my thoughts then.
Yeah, right. Chris?
Well, I mean, just back to what you were saying. I was going to say this earlier, but it leads up to this is the reason why I was going to say it. You talk about the card. This match is a big fucking deal. I mean, it's huge, right? It's Mercedes Moné's first match outside of WWE. You know, I mean, it's a huge deal, and you have this amazing buffet set up with this amazing dish in the middle of the fucking buffet, and then everything else, all the other trays are just filled with different consistencies of shit. It's like this is the
going
lead
to the
in
buffet. It's like this fantastic buffet, lobster tail, seafood gourmet, and they give you fucking plastic silverware, and you got to unwrap the plastic. It's got the salt, the pepper in there with it.
Yeah,
paper plates.
It's like going to a buffet, stealing a bunch of fried chicken, and then not being able to get out of the door.
Been there, done that before. Ruby Buffet, quite the adventure to go there. Yeah, this is quite this situation here. So from all we know, from all I could tell, is that this is a fantastic match. That she looked like $1 million. That her wig almost came off, and we'll be able to see it in 2 weeks. But first things first, she named a bunch of names in a promo, which the internet got really upset about because she mispronounced half of them. On purpose, thank you very much, because the first person to call her out is Azumi. She's going to wrestle Mercedes Moné next. Brandon, thoughts?
Yeah, love that. I know Azumi was one of the names that she mentioned when she was talking about Stardom, so keep it moving.
AMZ, she called her, on purpose, for sure. Chris, thoughts?
It's funny that people were like, she didn't even know what she was doing. She has no business being there. This is a woman who her entire career that we know of has been spent in one of the most particular, for lack of a better way to put it, one of the most specific training. Like you have to know every word that you're saying. You don't go off script. You are trained as a professional performer. But since she worked there and you don't like that company, then she doesn't know what she's doing. She has no clue. Right? To think that this person whose entire career has been spent being a professional, she never worked anywhere else really where you are not held to the highest standard. You thought she wouldn't really fucking prepare if she was going to say their name? Like she was just like, nah, I'll just fucking wing it and go out there and not know their fucking names. That's like, a Broadway actor coming out and just guessing the lines.
And
like
she's not somebody that's like wasn't at the top of the card either. She was at the top of the card for a long time. So they did, even though they did not necessarily value what she thought she was worth, and she's proving it, she was still highly valued in that company. She was one of the top 4 fucking women in that company, if not, and in the top 10 fucking most popular people in the company. So it's like, this woman knows what she's doing. Don't fucking lose your temper over stupid shit. It's so dumb.
I think that's like, it's a thing with pro wrestling and how bad, especially WWE has been, and how stupid it's been, where these people that are not very smart at all are able to look down upon something, and then they just flat apply that logic to things where that isn't the case. That's what you're seeing online a lot of the time.
Good stuff. It's very entertaining.
The thing what you just said though, like the people that are looking down on because it hasn't been good for an extended period of time, even if it was at its best, there was people that would shit on everything they did because it was the popular pop culture version of this thing that they like.
You're not allowed in our party.
You're not allowed in on it. It was. I always had this working theory with Metallica. When Metallica became popular, all the people that listened to Metallica before that were made fun of for listening to Metallica now resented everybody who now thought this band that they knew was cool is now mainstream cool. And it's the same thing. Like, I like Stardom. How can this person that worked for WWE like Stardom? They can't know anything about it. And it insults me that they try to.
Also, it's preposterous to assume that super weeb Mercedes Moné doesn't know about Japan. And Japanese wrestling is just fucking stupid. She spent there's videos of her training. She was training in Sendai girls. She's training with these girls. Come on, y'all. Grow the fuck up. Anyway, so yeah, we're getting Mercedes Moné versus Azumi. I'm not sure when that match is going to be because we'll talk about it in a minute, but Azumi's got some challengers lined up for the high speed. And Mina Shirakawa and Mercedes Moné are going back and forth online, which should be a good one too. Be fun to see a contrast between you get Mercedes Moné against Kairi, Kairi's a top-notch performer. Zumi, who is probably one of the best young performers on the planet, and then Mina Shirakawa, who's one of the biggest up-and-coming performers on the planet. It should be pretty fucking good. This should be fun. I'm excited for 2023 with Mercedes Moné on top. It should be good. Move on to WGP World Heavyweight Title match. Kazuchika Okada beat Hiroshi Tanahashi in a perfectly fine match. I don't know. I didn't watch it. Apparently, it wasn't as good as the other ones, but how can you have a bad Okada-Tanahashi match? Most importantly, Okada called out Tanahashi and said, hey, let's form a tag team, and we're going to take on Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi for the tag championship. There you go. Brandon, thoughts?
I love it. I think that sounds like a lot of fun. That's my only thought.
Chris, good.
How could you go wrong? There's not much to it. It'll give us some entertainment for a few months.
Yeah, this is something they teased before the pandemic or during the pandemic, but I think they were kind of saving something as special as Tanahashi and Okada being tag partners for a crowd. So, any final thoughts on this? I think 2 weeks we'll be able to watch it. By that point, it'll be old news and we won't want to talk about it anyway. But any final thoughts, Chris?
Yeah, I'll add something to what you were talking about earlier on the beginning of this. One afternoon, I sat at the bar. I was working with a friend of mine who was in, and we watched his son wrestle on his phone through a streaming service from the college he went to. It didn't fail.
Dude, I watch
a website.
I watch Wrestle Ring Diana matches from what looks like a fucking garage painted white. It's in fucking 4K on YouTube. New Japan, get your fucking shit together.
You can put a 4K video up on Facebook or Instagram from your fucking phone.
Yeah,
There's
to that point.
There's some dude that fucking edits prominence matches. He edits them. He cuts them up and stuff and adds things to it. And he does it himself.
Give me a break, dude.
Come on. You're a fucking billion-dollar company.
To that point, there's like one of the biggest streaming platforms is Twitch, of just like thousands and thousands of 14-year-olds playing Fortnite while running like a 4K multicam stream with no problem out of just like their home internet. It's not that hard to do.
This isn't hard. Come on, get your shit together. And the kid, the word is that New Japan has a contract with Fight for a year and a half. And if New Japan's complaining about bringing over, I don't know, paying for Tomoyaki Hanma to come wrestle instead of hiring Homicide, then I don't expect them to bust this contract till that shit's over. Then maybe they'll find somebody else. I don't know the business behind it, but it seems like we're stuck with fucking Fight TV with these pay-per-views, and they're nickel and diming us on these shows with these pay-per-views for the next fucking year and a half. So, all right, let's move on. Move on to something more positive. Okay, coming up before we get into our predictive future segment, Stardom's Triangle Derby Final is happening on the 4th of March. And real quick, I'm going to go through the card. So, two teams at the top of the blue block. Neo Stardom Army, which is Nanae Takahashi Yu and Yuna Mizumori, are going against the Prominence team of Suzuki Suzuki, Risa Sera, and Hiragi Kurumi. And the winner of that match will face off against the God's Eye team of Syuri, Mirai, and Amisori, who are facing Cosmic Angels team of Tom Nakano, Natsupoi, and Saki. So there's our Triangle Derby finalist. I'm assuming whoever wins will face for the triple match or for the triple tag match. Prominence of the holder, so I'm assuming they're going to lose. The holder rarely wins these titles. I'm going to go through the rest of this. We get Himeka versus Chihiro Hashimoto. We talked about this. Hashimoto came in because Syuri challenged her. Himeka, this is part of her retirement tour, so she's facing off against Big Hash. Singles match for the High Speed Championship. Azumi defends against Starlight Kid. Since Azumi is facing Mercedes Moné eventually, she might drop the belt here. So don't hold your breath, though. But singles match for the World of Wonder of Stardom Championship. Sai Kamitani, the champ, is facing Hazuki. Hazuki pinned her in their last Triangles match and challenged her to a match, and Sai Kamitani took it. And singles match for the World of Stardom Championship. Okay, so Julia challenged Mayuki. Mayuki said, no, I'll have to think about it. Mayuki is accepted. They had a press conference. Julia is fucking crying. Julia is saying that Mayuki ruined her fucking life, and she hates her, and she wants her out of Stardom, and she never wants to see her again. Holy shit. If you get a chance, it's in Japanese. I'll find a fucking translated version. Julia is on fire, man. She brings so much emotion to every fucking promo. And Mayuki is just playing it off like, I don't fucking care about you or this title. And you'll never be able to beat me. This is some serious bully shit, and I fucking love it. Brandon, thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know that I have any. I mean, I feel like I have to see this stuff. I'm glad that that's where we're at. We haven't mentioned this, I don't think, on the pods at this point, but we're going to talk a little bit of 2023 futures.
Yes, we are.
Correct? Yeah, I have a feeling Julia will probably come up a lot in that conversation, so we can save some of that for them.
Chris, thoughts?
I mean, she's a master storyteller, in my opinion, Julia. And she doesn't do it with stupid ass backstage segments. She does it with real emotion, believable emotion. So, yeah, awesome. I like it.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. It should be fun. And we'll see it. 2 weeks, I believe. 2 weeks. The 3rd. When the hell's the 3rd? Yeah, 2 weeks. So we'll see what happens. See where we're at by then. But since we predicted last week we wouldn't have much to talk about, we decided to dive into our crystal ball and predict the future. We're going to sit here. We're going to take our topics for our best of the year. Mind you, it's February 20th, right? It is the 20th. I'm not lying, am I? February 21st.
21st.
We're going
21.
to what we're going to be talking about in January as our best of the year. You guys ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Let's start it off. So we're going to go category by category, which is what we do when we do our best of. We're not going to vote this time. And I'm going to write these down, these answers. Okay? I'm going to go last. I'm going to write these down. And then we're going to come back at the end of the year and we're going to take a look. That sounds like fun. It sounds like a 3-hour podcast. That was because we got to fill it up. We got to fill up these hours. So your prediction, Brandon, for best newcomer 2023. Good.
Best newcomer 2023. That's a tough one because we haven't seen a ton of new faces yet. I think there's one obvious one that's been around for a while, and this person has as well. I'm going to go with Roosh in AEW. The last couple of weeks have been fun. I think we were looking for something with Andrade that we didn't get. Roosh has kind of quickly surpassed that in a few weeks here. Someone to keep an eye on. Don't love the pick. Happy to be voted off the pick, but that was the first name that came to mind, maybe because I was watching a little bit of him before the show.
That's good stuff. Chris, who you got for best newcomer in 2023?
Begins and ends Mercedes Moné. I don't think you'd be hard pressed to find somebody coming in with that level of experience, that level of fandom, and that level of hype.
That's a good one. I also had that, but I wanted to go outside the box a little bit because I have her listed in other stuff. I'm going to go with somebody that you guys have not heard of that I think is showing up. Stardom's junior division is a little lacking their high speed. They got about 4 people that can challenge, and they just rotate through them. If it's not Starlight Kid, it's Saki Kashima, or it's who else they got? They got a couple other girls that are just the high speed girls. So I'm going to go with the girl that used to work for Marvelous, and she's been MIA since 2021, I believe. She said she was leaving. I'm going to go with a Mei Hoshizuki. Keep your eye out for her. The Moon Star. She's really good. I think she's going to sign soon. So. All right, let's move on. Breakout star of 2023. Brandon, who you got?
Couple names on this list. If I'm going first, the first name that came to mind was Jade Cargill. I think only because she's quietly kind of floated to 50 and 0. So that Fast and Furious Vin Diesel NOS button is right there to be pushed if they choose to do so.
NOS. Chris, who you got as breakout star 2023?
So I had 2 breakout stars. I'm going to pick one because it's so far out of the box, but the 2 breakout stars, they're both 3-letter names.
Cool.
But this one's going to be outside the box. Zack Sabre Jr. I think
I wrote that down.
We talked about this last week, that TV title with the time limit, it gives you everything you want in a match with him. That it's going to be able to, give him a series of different opponents. And even though he's always been good, he kind of gets lost in the shuffle. You really have to pay attention to see what he's doing. And I think with him having a title of I hate to say unimportant, but it's not a championship, but it gives him a spot that you're going to pay attention to on a pay-per-view or on a show, that we're going to see more of him. His character work has always been phenomenal. We're going to get more of that, and we're going to see more of him in a more prominent spot, as opposed to just kind of floating around the middle of the card. Like, it'll be something that they pay attention to, and I think it's going to push him into another level.
Good pick. I'm going to go with somebody who's pretty much solidly in the mid-card, but she doesn't look like she should be in the mid-card, and she doesn't act or perform like she should be in the mid-card. I'm going to go with Donna Delmon's Micah. I think she might possibly win the white belt by the end of the year. We'll see what happens with Mina Shirakawa coming out of this Cinderella tournament. But Micah's a lot of fun to watch, and she's a powerhouse, and there's no reason why she shouldn't be the top of the card in Stardom, except for that it's crowded. That's the only reason. That happens a lot of times in these companies that are stacked with talent. You're like, man, this person is stuck where they are. Well, it's because there's 5 people ahead of them that are just, what are you going to do? Most improved of 2023. Brandon, thoughts? Who you got?
I think we did this the other time. I'm just encouraging you to rotate the order, so I'm not going first every time.
Yeah, go ahead.
It helps me with some of this, but
Chris,
you want me to go? I got one lined up. I
think
it's a fun one. I think you guys may, So we don't watch this, but we do watch two or three major shows of WWE a year. So I'm not going to not count their talent as being improved. The most improved wrestler, just from what I've seen, watching the little bit. Because like I said, we always put it on Monday night, and then I usually tune out pretty quickly. But my wife does like to watch it, so we'll throw it on. Dominic Mysterio is behaving like a total shitbag. His character work, they've just been kind of feeding you a little bits of him. They haven't been putting him out there. He's been such a fucking twat for the last few months that this will roll into him getting the shit kicked out of him by his old man, probably by SummerSlam. So I think he'll be the most, like, they've taken that everybody hates me thing, because God forbid you give us anything different. So we'll hate this kid. And then you take that masterful wrestling, we take that everybody hates me in real life, so I'm gonna start really behaving like they think I really behave, and there we go. I think Dominic Mysterio is the most improved wrestler in 2023.
I will go next to give Brandon a break. All right, Brandon already mentioned her. I think most improved. I think by the end of this year, we're going to be talking about how good Jade Cargill is. Forget about how great she looks, how impressive she is, how impressive she looks. I think we're going to talk about her work rate is going to improve dramatically. Just how good she's been being basically, they just stuck a giant person in the ring and they were like, here, do stuff. And she's improved so much. I think we're going to be talking about her, maybe dark horse best wrestler of the year. I don't know. Just outside of it. I think the sky's the limit with this woman. I can't see her getting not improving. Hopefully she doesn't plateau. Brandon, go.
I'll go with Takeshita, again, going off of 7 weeks of data so far this year. I feel like he's had some incredible matches. He's gotten a little bit of a fucking Twitter fight already with Conan. I'm like, okay, we're building a personality here already. So I think he can transcend where we usually see some of these, particularly the male Japanese wrestlers, plateau in American wrestling.
It helps that he's so young too. You know what I mean? He's been doing it for 10 years, but he's only like 25.
Can I add something? Just a point that I really think we should make here. When Brandon speaks of Conan, he is not speaking of Conan the Cimmerian.
Oh,
we all
Brian,
know that this year's Cimmerian style. He is not. We're not talking about the awesome Conan. We're talking about Conan gets a shit slapped out of him in the middle of the street and it's got awful hernias. That's the Conan we're talking about.
I'm real close to the Conan O'Brien reveal in Death Stranding. I got to go visit him. He's one of the locations.
Is he in that?
Yeah,
I'm not a PlayStation
collector.
guy.
He's the collector. You have to.
Do you still play your PlayStation a lot?
PlayStation 4? Sometimes. I play see, I'm a fucking weirdo. So I don't know if you guys noticed this. I'm a grown ass man who watches pro wrestling. I'm a weirdo and I like women's wrestling. So I play Fire Pro Wrestling.
Nice.
But I don't actually play it. I just run the promoter and I keep track of stats.
You GM.
Yeah, I do. Wins and losses. And then I have them set up and face off. It's good times. It burns like an hour of my day when I have nothing to do.
That's one of those. There's like this thing going around I see on Instagram Reels and TikTok. It's like autism wasn't a diagnosis when I was a kid. I just didn't realize until I was an adult that I did X, Y, and Z. It's like that I just ran GM mode on Fire Pro Wrestling and track statistics.
That's it. Too funny. Yeah, that's how I burn my time. And I'm like, And also, it's one of these things that's like, I'm not defending it. It's fucking weird. But I can sit there and I don't need sound. Because if you've ever played Fire Pro Wrestling, it's fucking repetitive as hell. It just sounds repetitive as hell. It's like an old video game. That's what it's designed like. It's designed like an old fucking late 80s, early 90s fighting game. And so I can listen to the radio while I'm playing. Like I don't have to pay attention. Just kind of hitting buttons and writing numbers down. So weird.
Jesus, man.
I'm the guy at the baseball game keeping a box score.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, remember, this is a prediction episode. If you're not paying attention and you're like, what are these guys fucking talking about? These people stink that they're talking about. We are predicting the future. 2023. In January 2023, we're going to be talking about this. So this is where it gets really weird.
2024.
2024. I keep saying 2023. 2024. It even says it at the top. We're in 2023. Let me change the name of my.
Well, this is our 2023 best of.
Best of for 2020. Yeah, it's our
best of for 2023. But you said we're going to be talking about it in January 2023. That's already passed. We're going to be talking about it in January 2023.
Yeah. Yes, I'm in.
We're
in
still
the future.
Going to be here.
I'm in the future.
Recording beards like After the Ohio train derailment chemicals ages us a million years, we like, ugh.
Death Stranding. There you
Go. I play Mad
did my-
Max, so we're
Glad
in
you
the
play what?
right. We're both in the right, mindset of video games. Death Stranding, Mad Max.
There you go.
We're heading towards one of them. I just don't know which one. Probably let Death Stranding because you have to work in that game. It's not just cool driving around running away from mutants.
No, you just
Running
carry
errands.
stuff. Carry stuff and hope it doesn't rain. Go ahead, Brandon.
Paperboy 2020. I did my first like old man conspiracy bunker guy thing today. My girlfriend ordered a coffee from Starbucks, and I was walking home, and she was leaving, and it started to rain. And I was like, "Go back inside. I'll take the hydrochloric acid rain." I walked back to the Starbucks and brought her coffee because in my head I'm like, "It's raining. It's raining. This vinyl chloride on me. I don't want her to be exposed to this."
Like, you just start melting. I did it for you.
I'm slowly slipping down the spiral into just like bunker guy here.
Okay. You got guns yet?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have guns. All right. Biggest surprise of 2023. The thing that's going to blow our mind. Okay. Here we go. And this ties into what we were talking about earlier. Now, this is totally insane. I don't really think it's going to happen, but I want to put it down here so that if it does happen, I can say, ha ha, I told you so. Julia, the red belt champion, will be losing her title to Maya Yuki on March 4th. And seriously, one of the biggest pro wrestling coups where she has to build herself back up and win that fucking title again. She can't beat the demons. She has to build up her power again to defeat the demons of her past. And this is the biggest one of all. And it would be fucking massive if she lost. We haven't had somebody have a short reign in a long time. It's always 10 defenses, 14 defenses, full year. I'd love to see a quick fucking 3 months and you're out, and then she's got to come win it again in December. Brandon, you're next.
I haven't seen this one anywhere. So we're going to go to the back half of the year, probably in November, December. AEW cuts. The AEW downsizing. As that TV contract runs up, we just had a Rampage was a 0.07 rating, 200,000 people on Friday night. Don't think TNT likes that very much. If you Google what's going on with AEW's TV contract, everybody's like, oh, they should be fine. We expected to sign a longer deal. I don't think so. I don't see it at all. Nobody's talking about it. You're gonna see all the shit that WWE got during the pandemic for cutting people. You're gonna see oh my God, what are these fans gonna do? And what's wrestling Twitter gonna be like when AEW has to downsize here?
When the Dark Order gets released. They're still with the company. Peter Avalon is still with the company. Chris, go ahead.
Well, first of all, let me say that Jim, your choice there is not that far-fetched, because as you were saying it, to me it was economy of storytelling, right? You do something in what will be March, and now you've written a story without writing a story for an entire year. Julia covered. We don't have to worry about her anymore. We don't have to do shit for her. Her story's written just by losing one match. I think it's brilliant at that point, because now you have everybody, like, Stardom is so good with telling the underdog, people fighting back, killing their demon story. I mean, come on. Brandon, we talked about, and I'm filling time because mine's really stupid. Brandon, we talked about, I talked about the ratings thing with them and then with the TV contract. You know, we assume because we watch wrestling and we enjoy wrestling that people, we don't assume it, but you know what I mean? It's almost like you think everybody has the same mindset. An executive from Discovery is going to look at this and say, how come you haven't gained one viewer in X amount of years? What am I paying for? Why am I paying for this? Right. So, and I've been saying it for months now. So I agree. But I agree.
But I mean, to that point, I mean, just to add to that, as long as you're consistent and you always have viewers in a dead spot.
That's not a dead spot. That's prime real estate. It's Wednesday night.
Is it? I think that's the only reason they're on TV is because they're getting 1 million people on.
Here's how I would think about it. Here's how I would think about it, Jim. Not to interrupt you, but if you're talking about $175 million when the value of the dollar has changed since they signed that contract, so you would expect just that to drop. And they would be insane not to, for every single show on their networks, there's going to be some slideshow of like past 12 months, past 24 months viewership ratings. They're just going to click through and just look at a line chart of just like, here's the line of where they rated over time. And AEW is not going to look good in any of that. Relative to the other shows, I truly have no idea. I don't want to speculate about that, but just imagining those two things together, it doesn't breed into it doesn't make sense that would become a bigger deal. So if it's not a bigger deal and you're that nascent as a company, it's not a good sign.
Right. Okay. So we're going. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I was trying to convey. The old, like the TV adage, if you're not growing, you're dying.
Right.
And if you're not growing, they're going to look at that and be like, why are we spending this money? You know,
those first couple years, every expense, you're like, it's an investment.
Right.
And once it becomes into what, then that's when it gets weird.
And then you got some corporate TV guy like, yeah, I can make this show for and they could just move all these crappy programs that they already own the rights to in there.
Bye all these WWE guys that you don't see. Yeah.
Right.
My biggest surprise is AEW related, and that's in the wrestling community. Ring of Honor will become more intriguing and more interesting than AEW is. You're gonna see like a little groundswell of people who are like, fuck this other show. I've been watching this show online. Almost like we were with the NWA.
If you would describe it, would you say that Ring of Honor is going to become more popular with the hipster crowd?
Sure.
I just want to get your.
I think those things could coincide, right? As the AEW becomes an ugly corporate entity, the fatty hipsterism of pro wrestling moves over to Ring of Honor as a more niche.
I'm going to call it, instead of being insulting, I'll just call it niche fans. How's that?
Niche fans. There you go.
Because fatty hipsterism.
All of those fatty hipsterism.
Fatty neckbeard.
All of the
David Nixon's fans of the world.
Yeah.
All of the oh man, dude. I see posts of his on Twitter.
I can't. He blocked me.
It takes everything in my power not to just make fun of him.
Listen, someone that I know called him out for pooping his pants once. And he went on this whole thing about he didn't do it. And I responded, brother, we've all been there. We've all shit ourselves. It's okay if you've shit yourself before. Just live with it. Yeah, right. We talk about it all the time.
Fucking laugh our asses off about it.
Blizzard.
Speaking of Hawani, he laid into Bixen's fan a little bit. He's like, I saw him one time at Bellator, and he was covered in sweat and couldn't even get a sentence out.
God. There's one guy. He's like a WWE fucking weirdo. I forget what his name is on social media, but apparently he smells so bad. Like he's super, super poopy stinky.
Oh.
Fuck.
Halitosis of the asshole.
So all those popular stinky, sweaty boys that will start watching Ring of Honor.
Yep.
That's a good one. I like that. I like these, like the AEW releases one is like something that we've seen on the wall, like waiting to happen for 2 years now. Right? Like,
but nobody has. If you Google AEW the contract talks, there's not a whiff of that.
Right. We've been like saying they gotta let some of these guys go soon. They have to.
And now like I said, and that's one of the reasons I think you'll see all those hardcore fans who think that it's the anti WWE. It's a wrestler's company. They're there for the rest. All these people are going to turn on them. Because people love to have a commentary about things they know nothing about that happen in rooms that they will never be in.
That show last week, you should have seen fucking Twitter. AEW's finished. They had one bad week. They've had a couple of, it wasn't our cup of tea, but for their fan base, they love that fucking Young Bucks shit. That was week after week, and we were saying, it's not great. Started to pick up. Last week wasn't terrible. This week, or 2 weeks ago, wasn't terrible. This week, the episode was apparently awful, and AEW's finished. I can't believe that this is terrible. I can't watch his show. And you should have seen these people losing their shit. This reactionary bullshit. Like, they will turn on a dime on these people if they find out, like, wait, this company's run by a billionaire?
Richer than Vince McMahon.
There you go. Shall we move on?
Move on.
Best moment of 2023, as predicted, here at the Wrestling is Hard podcast. Brandon, you're up first this time.
I wrote the podcast, particularly Chris, whenever Ric Flair dies. I'm expecting that's going to happen the next 9 months. I got a text Friday night, I think it was, out of nowhere. I have no idea where this came from. And it was just, I hope Ric Flair and Ozzy die on the same day. And I just
at the exact same moment.
Yeah. And this is out of nowhere. There's no rumors of this. So when this starts to stir, this podcast is going to get a lot better. I think this will be the moment for 2023.
You know, I laugh when we talked about it. I always giggle when someone drops dead for some reason. Oh my God, we're being fucking tears when Ric Flair dies. You know what? My feelings, I will get upset.
Oh, so will I.
I'll be sad because he's an icon in professional wrestling. We got great entertainment out of it for years before we were making fun of him. He was a driving force for us every fucking Saturday to watch pro wrestling. So
100%. No, 100%. And I say that over and over again. It's just.
He's a mockery of himself now. That's
exactly.
Yeah.
You know?
Woo!
And listen.
Now's your chance to do it.
And listen, if you want to draw a parallel to the rock and roll world, Ozzy Osbourne's a fucking mockery of himself. He's been one for fucking decades.
Yes, since that TV show, that's when we found out he was like,
I go for fun. Can't live in noise. Shout I'm a sex addict. I'm a sex addict. That was it.
Now do Ric Flair and tell me the difference.
Woo! Of course, you sure was sex addict. Woo!
All right, let's have Ozzy talk to Ric Flair. Do it now.
I don't know if I have. Sharon, woo! Ozzy, I need a script. I will write the script.
Yeah, we
close the show out with it next week.
Oh my God!
There's a little homework.
All right, I won't watch. I'm not. Look, I'm gonna write this down on my pad.
Work on your Ozzy.
Ozzy,
yeah, you don't have to work on it at all. It's perfect. Keep doing it like that. I don't want to change it all.
Of course, yeah.
There you go. Both. So anyway, Chris, what's your best moment of 2023?
Oh, it's fucking Bridget Monet coming out in Hana Kimura gear.
Nice. Already happened. Nice.
Yeah, I don't think anything's going to top that. Come on. Unless we get another giant hand slapping a wrestler in the face at WrestleMania.
Yeah, which I don't think we're getting. But the WrestleMania doesn't look half as entertaining as last time. Quick note on that. There were Joshi nerds that were very upset that she did it with that Kimura gear, and her mom and all her friends said it was amazing. So shut up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Random Twitter guy says no. My best moment of 2023 will be most talked about moment that we were going to predict anyway before we talk about the pay-per-view. CM Punk is returning to AEW. That's my prediction. I don't think it's too out there to say that. I don't think it's too crazy. I think it's crazier if Maya Yuki wins the fucking red belt. I think CM Punk returns to AEW. I'm curious if he gets booed or cheered, though. Brandon, you got any thoughts on any of this? You stepped away for a minute.
Yeah, I was going to do that as my biggest surprise. I thought it would come up from one of you two, but it's slipped to this point. But would it even be a surprise at this point?
That's why I didn't put it as my biggest surprise.
Let's start to put the let's point the arrows in this direction, right? AEW viewership not trending upwards. We're heading towards the back half of the year. Contract talks have started probably at this point already. Tony Khan's got things up his sleeve when he's talking to TBS executive. TBS executive or Warner executive is is reporting to his boss, just wait till the back half of the year. CM Punk's got to be in the fucking mix in this thing. The money just has to drive this story. It just has to.
And we've also heard with people like Brandon Thurston out there that are involved in the money aspect of professional wrestling, we haven't heard a single word about a lawsuit or any kind of contract talk or anything like that. Like, you'd think you'd have an idea that he was actually leaving. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he's healed now. Don't forget he got fucking banged up in that last match too. He friggin' I think his bicep get torn or some shit. I don't know what the fuck happened to him.
The only thing that we know is that the conversation got resolved to the point that he wasn't an instant cut.
Right.
Which is a good sign for him coming back over time.
He was also at the New Japan show in attendance in the stands, and Kenta called him out. So there we go. Exciting stuff.
Can we discuss Kenta's hair? Looked great. That's all I want to say.
Looks like a bird's nest. It's amazing. I wish I had hair like that. So I got hair like this.
I like when guys reappear from a layoff and look laid off, like they were laid off. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. It's great.
Yeah. My barber's been booked up for a month though. I finally got an appointment on the 1st. I got a fucking curly. How does that even
fucking happen?
I don't know. I didn't ask questions. I'll find out when I get there.
Bitch.
Who, me?
No, your barber.
Okay. Let's move on to favorite moment.
You got to go to this barbershop out in Schwanksville.
I think I closed.
Oh, that closed. Yeah. No, we're not. We will not. I am not.
He will not
keep fucking airtime.
Move on. We will not talk about them. Favorite moment of 2023, Chris. What's going to be your favorite moment of 2023?
Oh, it's impending. The Muda retirement tour ending.
We can talk about that real fast. Retirement tour ending?
Yeah.
I wrote down retirement torment ending.
That's perfect.
Yeah, so we can't watch it because it's a pay-per-view and it was $50 fucking to watch it.
To watch a guy who can't walk.
Right. Apparently it was a very good match. And then, spoiler alert, at the end, he lost. At the end, he called out Masachono, and Masachono came in, gave him the Yakuza kick, and gave him an STF and tapped him out. So, worth the price of admission, I guess. Also, Kazuchika Okada fought Kaito Kiyomiya. Kiyomiya demanded that the match be 60 minutes or no time limit. Okada agreed. Okada beat him in 15 minutes.
Nice.
He gave him a Rainmaker, which knocked him out. Got to the 3 count, pulled his head up. Gave him Masawa, the god of Noah's Emerald Flosion, his finisher. And then hit him with another fucking Rainmaker and killed him. He's dead.
Nice.
Kaito Kiyomiya dead.
It's in a fucking tomb right next to Ric Flair and Ozzy Osbourne.
Brilliant. Can't wait to watch that one, by the way. All right. It's my turn. Favorite moment of 2023. I am going to say, so it's a storyline that's been going on for years now. She hasn't won a fucking match. She's getting huge pops in every close fucking pinfall on Stardom. But my favorite moment, I predict, will be Waka Tsukiyama getting her first win. It's going to be fucking massive. They might burn the Tokyo Dome down or wherever the fuck their next show is. Nagoya Swim Center. I don't know where they are. Brandon, your favorite moment of 2023.
Okay, this is a selfish one, and I'm looking into 2024 here when I choose this as my favorite moment because let's be honest, the last 12 months of wrestling for me personally, I haven't had a ton of exhilarating moments. We're having fun doing it, but I don't know that anybody can do anything that would top this for me, and it's not going to happen this year. My favorite moment of this year is going to be the impending dud that would be this WrestleMania. Looks like they're already fucking up the Sami Zayn storyline. Triple H is coming out saying he's not happy with the people he's re-signed, almost as challenging Brock Lesnar. I hope this thing kind of stinks because I'm going to be at WrestleMania next year at Lincoln Financial Field, and they're going to have to pull out all of the stops. I need The Rock to be there. I need them to bomb this thing so hard that they have to have a big bounce back for me.
I'm not paying attention, but I'm hearing no buzz for WrestleMania. I do know that there was a big dud when Sami Zayn lost. I heard about that. The whole building went silent, which I don't care, WWE fans. That should not be anyone's reaction. Silence should not be that's not a good reaction.
Correct.
Booing, good reaction. Cheering, good reaction. Silence, that means why did I bother?
And do I want Sami Zayn to main event WrestleMania? Absolutely. But if they do that, that means next year they're going to have to do something crazy.
I'm down. Chris, are you going to WrestleMania?
Yeah, but I think that your lack of watching WWE, in mine as well, is you have an idea of what they're doing, and everything that they're doing the path that they're taking doesn't look like it's going to be this, Sami Zayn being in the main event of WrestleMania. Right. Probably not going to happen. And we'll get into that later because I have something lined up for that.
Am I first on the next one?
Sure. I would say real quick, Chris.
Go ahead.
There's two different crowds. There's the wrestling crowd, and then there's the WrestleMania crowd. I don't see anything brewing for this year that's going to get the WrestleMania crowd.
I agree with you there. Yeah. I agree with you.
We're good.
Okay, we're good. Worst moment of 2023. I looked into the future. All right. And the future is now, brother. These New Japan Fight TV streams are fucking terrible. There's going to be a couple more because Mercedes Moné is going to headline a couple of these fucking US shows. She might be at the Capitol and Collision. She might even be at ours when we go. I can't. I'm not fucking doing it. I will gladly pirate. Or wait, because apparently the New Japan stream was fine. The sound wasn't great, but it was there weren't the interruptions and shit. So maybe they used a different broadcasting system to Japan to broadcast to New Japan. Different satellite. It's possible. But yeah, this Fight TV shit's got to end. It's fucking terrible. Brandon, you're up.
Yeah, that was on there for me. This seems pretty poor. I'm going to go with the IWC or Wrestling Twitter post WWE sale / AEW TV panic when those things coincide and it looks like a wrestling apocalypse. I think this is going to be the worst moment of the year.
Or best, depending on your
yeah, it could be the best.
Chris, who you got?
The worst moment, and I just came up with this because I went through the list. I didn't write one down, but I have one. I just took everything we were just talking about, so I'm going on the fly with this one. So it doesn't make much sense. That's fine. We're gonna assume that CM Punk returns, and the worst moment will be when they force feed us CM Punk versus the Elite as this manufactured. Kind of, you already knew it was coming, manufactured, poorly written, shittily executed, jammed down your fucking throat, poorly blurring the lines between reality and fantasy. It'll just be completely fucking awful. And it'll be the worst moment of 2023.
Like they would be smart to keep them apart for a while.
For fucking, yeah.
Let him go right after fucking MJF. Let MJF be his first feud. He's going to mention it enough. G. Pete MJF is going to fucking mention all the bullshit backstage a million times. They're going to go right to it, and it's going to stink. There's a bunch of rumors out there that Tony might not be bringing the Young Bucks back. I don't know if there's any truth to that, but they're out there.
I've been seeing that too. But
yeah. Brandon, you got anything to say before we move on?
Just crossing my fingers if you couldn't see that. That would be ideal.
Goodbye. Sorry, Punk fans. Or not Punk fans. Those guys.
I don't care. I don't care about the CM Punk thing. If he's back, I would be happy with that because that means that somebody made an interesting decision. If the Young Bucks leave, I'm like, okay, this little geek's starting to run a business here, and I like where it's at.
Right. All right, hardest to watch of 2023. Brandon, I think you're first. Go ahead.
Vince on TV. It's got to happen at some point here. That's what I put. I don't want to talk about it any more than that. Dirt sheets pop up, and apparently there were last minute changes. We haven't heard that phrase in a long time. Yes.
We haven't heard it. Last minute changes to the script on Raw. Weird. Who's known for that?
Same thing.
Chris, who you got? What do you got? Hardest to watch?
It's going to continue to be MJF and his
I love it.
manufactured fucking shitty promos. They had a diamond. You know the term, Jim knows the term, dog shit in the diamonds. Well, we got
Yes.
a diamond in the dog shit. We had something that was brewing. It was interesting. It seemed to be going in a direction that was going to be fun. And then we just went, nah, we'll just keep doing everything you were doing last year. So, because we didn't know what to do after the whole CM Punk thing erupted and everybody got scared. Just was like, oh, it's fucking put a tape in. Just put a tape in. Like your kid's crying. The cable's out. Fucking can't watch Coco Melon. Put a tape in.
Tape.
I have, and we've already witnessed it, but I want to see how much further the story goes or lack of it. The whole Jay White leaving New Japan thing, it's fucking terrible. It stinks. Come on. I mean, I'm not against David Finlay getting a push here. New Japan manages to take guys and make them important. They did it with fucking Juice Robinson. I wasn't a big fan of Juice Robinson, but those Japanese fans fucking love Juice Robinson. But yeah, this ain't good, man. This ain't great. And if he ends up at WWE, it makes it even worse because I like Jay White and it's like he died. We'll have to have a funeral for Jay White because I'll never see him again. Why don't you just watch WWE? You mean I gotta find 10 minutes that I care about out of 3 hours, 5 hours of weekly entertainment? No, thank you. He's gonna learn hard cam. He's gonna be an NXT, be like, oh no, you're doing it wrong, brother. Everything you're doing is too risky. You gotta tone it down. You got one of the greatest professional wrestlers in the world, fucking Io Shirai, and you got her fucking doing headlocks and flips. That's all you got her doing. Come on.
I like it.
All right, best storyline of 2023, as predicted by who's first? Chris, you're first. Where you at, Chris?
The culmination of the we don't watch it, but I mean it's the only coherent thing that goes on in professional wrestling in the United States. So I'm assuming other people are going to go in a different direction. So I'm going to go outside of what we normally do. It's going to be the culmination of the Bloodline storyline with Sami Zayn. It's going to end up. It's as of right now, it's not there. But you know, you have time before Mania. I think we're going to get. You know, they had, you know, I only saw videos of this. I didn't see it happen on TV, but Cody Rhodes saying that he would allow or he would want Sami Zayn in a triple threat match for the WWE Championship against Roman Reigns. As a diversionary tactic, I think it's going to be Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus the Usos at Mania, and it's going to be a fucking awesome match, and it'll probably be the only one of any interest to watch at WrestleMania, and it'll end that storyline that's been going on for a while. I think you're going to see all this shit. You know, if they do it like I always say that I mean, look, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but I always say that, you know, it's great to have Mania be the season finale and the next season reset. They don't always do that. Sometimes they straggle these storylines around.
They legit do not do that anymore.
No, they don't do that anymore.
They don't do it at all.
They don't do it at all anymore.
They just keep going.
They just keep going.
They have WrestleMania. They got the backlash of WrestleMania now, which is basically the same matches.
But yeah, I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with the culmination and the ending, or at least a major plot point turn in the Bloodline storyline involving Sami Zayn.
Okay. I have no opinion on that because I really don't know. It's my fault. My turn. All right. Back-to-back winners. I got Julia beating all of the ghosts of her past and winning the red belt again in December. If I follow my original prediction for biggest surprise. So that's what I'm going to do. Back-to-back Stardom storylines winning. Or, yeah, Julia storylines even. Brandon, good.
Yeah, I had two, and you guys jumped on them, and I think just due to lack of no, don't apologize. I think it's just these are the things that are interesting. I wrote down Suzuki versus Julia because it seems to be heating up at this point. That's one of the few things that I'm genuinely interested in. The other one being the Sami Zayn thing. So
it's curious because the Julia and Suzuki thing, like after the last match, it was like a mutual respect thing. They even said like they might fight together. I wouldn't be surprised to see them tag up together to take on Mayuki and the rest of Rebel X Enemy. That'd be nice. Get Ram Kai Chow in there eating pins.
Yeah, I mean, I you know 10 times as much as I do, but I just feel like you don't leave that at like a mutual respect. Like this has to continue. Whether in the short term that's what it is, but there's so much emotional draw to this story that I want to keep an eye on it, and I can't say that about almost anything else besides what Chris talked about.
I will say that it is fun to watch all the cooperation between Japanese companies right now.
It's a great one. Yeah,
all these free agents and whatnot, and we have the Noah show, which had TJPW, it had All Japan, New Japan, it had all kinds of people on the fucking show. I guess it's going to be good. This is going to be a good year. A lot of cooperation. I guess in a way to keep Japanese pro wrestling going, I guess. All right, let's move on. Favorite show or event? Where do you predict this? What do you think is going to be the biggest show? Is it my turn first?
Sure, go ahead.
It is my turn first. Just on recency bias and just the fact that it's always my favorite show of the year, I'm going with the 5-star final. I don't know yet who's going to be in the 5-star. Might be Julia winning it again to take on Mayuki for the title. Who knows? But it never disappoints. It's always fun. It's always over the top with production and everything else, and it's always near the top of the table when it comes to best shows to watch and what I recommend to people. Brandon, good.
I did Wrestle Kingdom. I think, even just...
Wait a minute. Are we doing favorite or are we doing best?
Favorite.
Favorite. Okay. Yeah. 5.
So even though we weren't able to meet in public, there was a COVID scare at the time. I don't know that there'll be another experience this year where it's up in the middle of the night goofing off. That's usually where the fun's at. So
fighting after that Ospreay match, both of us texting each other, fighting off the fucking fatigue because we had to watch another 35-minute match. That was rough.
That's the fun stuff. That's when you're talking favorite. That's what I like.
Chris, favorite match, show, favorite show or event.
I'm going to predict it. We're predicting it. I'm going to predict it. The year end is that Dream Queendom Stardom show.
It would be Dream Queendom 3 or their year end show. I don't know what they're going to call it.
Yeah, but the Stardom, we'll just go with the Stardom year end show. Will be my favorite of the year.
Good shit. All right, best show or event. This is the one that you think is the best, not necessarily your favorite. What do you predict will be the best show of the year? Brandon, you're on first.
I did the Stardom Grand Prix final. I think that was probably the best show of the last year. It topped the end of the year show for me, and they seem to be only trending upwards. So
5-star GP final. Chris, what do you got?
I think that'll be.
I'm going with the year end show again with Stardom. Culmination of storylines. I think when you talk about action and storytelling.
I'm calling a violation on Chris. You can't do the same one for favorite and best.
Sure,
no way, it's impossible.
How can the best show be?
How could you truly love the best show? It's impossible. Only a true fucking nerd would be like, no, my favorite can't be
the best show is that, but my favorite
maybe the best
AEW Dynamite. AEW Dynamite, October 23rd,
Yeah.
2023.
My favorite band is the Beatles.
I was thinking about this, not to run this off the rails, but on tiers of music and wrestling fans, there's
You're thinking about tiers of music and wrestling fans.
You know what I mean? In the shower when I'm touching myself, I think of this weird stuff. And the person that because there's always these people, and Chris had mentioned this type of person that's they like a band to a certain point, and then when that band gets popular, they don't like them anymore. Or, I mean, it doesn't always work that way. Sometimes the band gets to a certain point money-wise, and they're kind of usually the third album. It's the magic number, the third album. But the fourth album, if they're making a fourth album, they're kind of getting this I'm going to go I made my 3 albums. I'm owed to this record company. Now I'm going to start going experimental shit because I made them a bunch of money and I'm allowed to. It's like James Cameron with fucking Avatar 2. We're making Avatar 2. It's going to cost billions of dollars to make, but Avatar 1 built this entire studio. You know what I mean? That I'm making it in. So, but there's certain tiers of fans that are pretentious, but they don't they're pretentious just to certain bands and certain, you know what I mean? Like Deadheads. They love the Grateful Dead. They know every fucking thing about the Grateful Dead. But if you take them out of their element and they have to listen to anything else that is a variance of music, they usually get lost. Like there's no way to listen to any hip hop. No way. No. That's not real music. Just a bunch of scratches and beeping, bopping. You follow me here?
And the bopping and the hipping and the hopping.
I was gonna say, or it's just a basic thumbs up, thumbs down system. Like you pick your thing that you like, and then everything outside of that thing, it's just like I can get down with this, or I don't get it. There's no like real depth to the analysis if it's not specifically their thing. Yeah.
Right.
I am going to go off on a very short rant here, but
Please
something happened today.
Take your time.
Something happened today. So first of all, this isn't the rant, but this happened last week. My wife turned on a documentary called "Meet Me in the Bathroom," and it's about the '90s, early 2000s New York music scene with the Yeah Yeahs and the Strokes, Interpol, all those bands.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Okay. And I was explaining to my wife how I knew I would like the Strokes because all the musicians I knew, guys that played fucking guitar in their basement, they all hated them.
Right.
And it's like, envy. Yes.
Well, they also do the whole, like, there's that whole, they're industry plants.
Right.
That's a real thing. That's an industry plant. Yeah, no shit, but they still make good music.
Right.
Like Wet Leg. Wet Leg is a band that's was up for like a Grammy for Best New Artist. It's a British band. Popped up out of nowhere. Had a terrible single called Chase Lounge. Fucking awful song. But the album itself was really good. But everybody kept saying, like, this is like an industry plant. Like, these people came out of nowhere. Like I don't get what, like, who cares? They made a fucking great album. Who gives a shit?
Yeah. The other thing it happened to me today, and this was because Brandon mentioned the thumbs up, thumbs down thing. And this is, you have a lot of, wrestling fans do this. I came home today and my wife was watching a documentary. It was actually a live concert from a small church in Los Angeles from early 70s. It was Aretha Franklin. I believe the concert video is called Amazing Grace. Okay. When you go on the Xfinity menus, they have the Rotten Tomatoes score. And then they have, I guess it's Metacritic. One of them's popcorn, whatever the popcorn one is.
Popcorn is
doesn't matter.
I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. But
Movie Life or some shit.
Okay. The Metacritic or the Rotten Tomatoes score was 99% thumbs up.
Mm-hmm.
You have a concert video of restored footage of Aretha Franklin playing to less than maybe around 100 people in a church in Los Angeles. Somebody watched that and said, it doesn't quite represent what I was looking for. 100 people watched this and one fucking guy, and I looked to see who said it, and that's exactly what he said. He said, it didn't represent her spiritual side enough. It was Aretha Franklin playing in a fucking church in the early 70s. The people in that church, any of them that are still alive, still talk about that to this day. Like it's the greatest moment in their fucking life. Okay. And this one person, Derek Jeter, made the Hall of Fame. It's a first ballot Hall of Famer. One fucking guy voted him. He didn't get a unanimous vote. One guy said no. And it drives me fucking crazy. And this is what are these people looking for?
He fucked his wife. I mean, I get it.
Yeah, probably. Gave her a signed baseball when he left.
Yeah. Thanks for the ride.
Thanks, DJ. I'm done.
By the way, listeners, this is just the lesson of this rant was you can have a favorite and the best overall rated be the same thing.
Yeah, it'd be the same thing. Right, exactly.
You got on this. Ray, any final thoughts on this before we move on to favorite match of 2023?
No, I concede.
I think you're up first, aren't you? Or am I? Who's up first?
I'll go first.
I didn't go yet.
What are we on?
I didn't go yet. Okay. My best show or event is going to be the G1 final this year. I think that New Japan is on the comeuppance, and we'll talk about it in a minute. But favorite match? Go ahead. You're up.
I wrote down CM Punk versus Kenny Omega. It must happen, and the shit talking asshole that I am, I'm like, I just want to see this so bad. It's deeper than the any plot that you could write.
Oh my God. Could you imagine how upset the levels of upsetitude across the internet?
Oh, the drama. It'd be real drama.
It would
finally
be so good. Chris, what do you got? Favorite match of 2023, which has not happened yet, or may have happened.
Well, I'm going to go with one that happened already as my favorite match, not necessarily the best match, Brandon. I don't want to do that twice in one.
No, you can't. You're not allowed because then you're pretentious.
I'll get a whole bunch of thumbs downs. My favorite match is going
99% approval.
The tax and the sweatshirt Darby Allin Samoa Joe match from fucking
AEW. That was fucking awesome.
I love that match.
Hold on, you got to give me a minute. Talk some more because I got to write it down.
They wrestled in the match, and they were taxing and thumbtack, a sweatshirt, and the Samoa Joe, and then boom, Joey head rocker. What do you got to add to that, Brandon?
He's the most like Darby Allin as little as you see him. As I spend a lot of my 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. hours scrolling on Instagram Reels or TikTok. He comes up the most. He always is doing the craziest shit in AEW. It's just him jumping off a ladder 30 feet, pushing Matt Hardy into a pile of chairs, and it's like a meme about that or something. Like, you can't really top that guy.
No, he's awesome.
That.
My favorite match,
killed,
which I haven't watched, is Kyrie versus Mercedes Moné. It was fucking awesome. I love that match so much. Yeah. It's on top of the heap just because of the Hana Kimura gear. R.I.P. Hana Kimura. Never forget her. She's got a show coming. Her mom's putting a show on for her again. We'll run it. Best match of 2023, as predicted by us. Chris, you're up first.
I'm going to... In my flash? Nope, I was on mute there. Hold
on. You're good.
I'm going to go with, if it happens, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus the Usos at WrestleMania.
Anything to add to that? Very good.
No, I mean, you have Sammy. The Usos have always put on tremendous matches, especially in big moments, big shows. Right? They're naturally talented. It's what they do best. You're never going to see a singles run out of either one of these guys. I don't think if you do, it's not going to be a successful one. But they do put on great matches and big shows. And I think that there are very few guys that can get a crowd into it and get a crowd and build drama and emotion like Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, whether they're wrestling each other or I would see them wrestling in a tag team match against two guys that are really good and still being able to build that drama.
Excellent. I agree. My best match of 2023 will be, it already happened. It's going to be Omega Ospreay. It's going to be a lot to fucking beat that match. I fucking love that match. Wrestle Kingdom 17? Right? Wasn't that what we just had? I don't know. The match was amazing. Dude, that fucking table spot, with him looking through it and everything was fucking, that is just definitely worth going back and watching again. Brandon, go ahead.
Well, my best is actually my favorite. I'll do Mercedes Moné versus Julia. Next on that list of name drops from Mercedes Moné was Julia. I think that will be a fucking fun one when that happens. Two people that legit feel like a big deal.
Oh my God, the bone
She called it Giulia. Didn't even bother to learn how to pronounce it. She called Giulia.
This also leans into me thinking she's dropping the title. I think Azumi's dropping the title. I think Julia's dropping the title. So they're freed up to go challenge for this IWGP match. I think that these are all lined up. Like these girls are going to go out to do the IWGP matches at big New Japan shows. We're definitely getting one at Dominion. Maybe at Sakura Genesis. Like they're not going to be every show, but we're going to get them at a lot of them. And she's going to need contenders. So I think they're going to drop the titles. And I'm fucking into it. I'm into this. Let's fucking do it.
We're doing a vote at the end, right?
No, we're not voting this time. Do you want to vote? We can vote if you want.
I do. Do you want to, Chris? Or
vote, but at the end of this?
Yeah.
No?
No. It's pointless. We're going to go back and we're going to read what everybody said.
Okay, well then I'll make my point here. Could there be a bigger
goddamn point?
Sheesh. Could there be a bigger non-WWE women's match that you can imagine than those two?
No, absolutely not. Not right now. Not the way that AEW's women are currently in this Mean Girl storyline. It stinks. There's nothing in AEW I'm looking at. I'm saying, yeah, this has to happen.
Okay.
Huh?
How bad is it? I said it last week that their AEW's women are in a Mean Girl storyline, and it's the only coherent storyline in all of AEW.
Right. It's ridiculous. Yep. All right. Are we done? Yeah. Best promotion. I think I'm first, I believe.
Go for it.
Yeah. I'm going to say their year is coming around. I'm saying New Japan Pro Wrestling once again rises to the top. They're going to have a bunch of different shows. We got the New Japan Cup. We got some young guys coming over. We got some foreigners coming over. We got the IWGP Women's Championship. Their talent is still top notch. They just haven't had a crowd to do it in front of, and it's fucking stunk. But I think they are definitely going to be top dog again. Followed closely behind by Stardom, of course. Brandon, go ahead. Chris,
yeah, I agree. New Japan, I missed them. Come back to me. That was the driving force as to why we decided to do this podcast, and they've kind of vanished for a lot of the time that we've had to kill like 100+ episodes. So please give us some more New Japan to talk about.
Yeah, it's fun to watch. Chris, what do you got?
I'm just going to go off kilter. I had New Japan, but I'll say World Wonder Stardom, just so I can be different.
Not a bad choice. That would be my number 2. I wish it was AEW. We get it for free, but it's not going to be. Favorite pro wrestler, all genders. Your favorite. Brandon, you're up. In 2020,
I'm claiming this is an Eddie Kingston year. I've sent you guys that tweet earlier. He's starting to be a little bit funnier than he has been on the internet. I see him piping up. I'm sticking to my MJF versus Eddie Kingston title drop prediction.
That'd be fucking amazing. Chris?
I'm going to stay in AEW, but just from the amount of joy I've gotten from this dude on free TV over the last couple months, I think he's going to continue to do it over the year, and that's Darby Allin.
Yeah, I was already typing it in. I knew you were going to say that. Well done. My favorite pro wrestler of 2023 will be the returning Mercedes Moné. Just from what I saw so far. She just looks so fucking excited to be doing this. Could you imagine, like, you're restricted from your moveset? Now, her moveset's not that complicated. But just everything that they do, and it's so, like, clean in WWE where it has to be certain shit. You can't do certain stuff, and that's too dangerous. You can't do this. And now you can just do whatever the fuck you feel like it as long as you can pull it off. I'm into it. Best pro wrestler in the world, according to us, in the year 2023. Chris, you're up.
I'm going to pick the man who makes the sky rain money. Kazuchika Okada. Still going to go with him. The guy fucking never loses. Like, he just gets better and better. Never loses a step.
I'm having a hard time spelling his name. I will go with someone that 3 years ago I don't think I would even touched and spoke of as being the best professional wrestler. It is Tomoaki Honma. It is Will Ospreay.
Okay.
I've changed my tune on Will Ospreay. I still think he's a prick in real life, but he's so fucking good in the ring that I am going to say, yes, he will be my favorite, but followed closely behind by Kazuchika Okada. I was waffling between the two of them. I wanted to be a little different this year. Brandon, go ahead.
Yeah, same here. I want to be a little bit different. Let's go in another direction. There's nothing harder to do than get the nursing home dancing. If Sami Zayn gets everybody going like he seems to have, I'll put him at number 1. That's probably harder to do than anything that those two are going to do.
Yeah, I don't know. Vince is back, so don't worry, Sammy. Now, Brandon, do you want to vote? We can vote if you want.
I think I got outvoted on the vote. It's 2-1.
I'm don't give a shit. Chris, are you completely against voting? I guess it doesn't really matter.
Look at this. If you're looking on YouTube, look at this fucking mug.
YouTube.
He doesn't want to have anything to do with it. We're good. Let's go home.
All right, yeah, let's get out of here. So it was fun. I can't wait to see how wrong we are.
We're not going to be wrong.
No, we're going to be completely right. But next week, what do we got? We got AEW. We got AEW next week.
We'll vote next week.
Yeah, we might have to vote next week. We might have nothing to talk about. We'll see what gets released. I don't think the Noah or New Japan show are going to be released for a couple of weeks. So we might be a little strapped for stuff to talk about. We'll figure something out. Any final thoughts, Brandon?
No, sir.
Chris, final thoughts?
I just thought of this, and
for it.
I just want to throw an idea out there. Why don't, if nothing happens this week, why don't we take a couple hours of our time, and we would have spent watching awful wrestling that we don't care about, and we'll pick I'm looking at right now the 1974 movie The Wrestler starring Vern Gagne.
Okay.
Maybe if we can, now I don't know that this is the one, but maybe if we can think of something and we can watch it, do a little review if nothing else happens, because
We haven't done one of them in a while.
we're in a dead zone here. I don't know if it's available. It's probably on YouTube.
Brandon, real quick, check and see when the AEW pay-per-view is. If it's available on YouTube, that's even better.
It is March 7th, so we got another week.
No, we still got some time. Oh, so yeah, we got 2 weeks. Yeah, we can't even do a preview show.
The preview will be the next one after that. So,
yeah. What, March 7th, you said?
Yeah. So next week will be the 28th.
March 7th.
Then we'll do a preview.
Oh, that's our preview show. The AEW
Sorry, March 5th. So.
So next week is our preview show.
Right. Then we'll do the AEW preview next week.
There we go. We got to figure it out. All right,
there we go. I can't find this thing anywhere anyway. So
I mean, we could probably do both. I don't think that.
We could squeeze into an hour and a half. We're closing in on 2 hours, but we're at an hour and a half. Hour and 36 minutes. Perfect. After editing, an hour and 38 minutes. There you go. Oh, by the way, update. I am in season 6A of The Sopranos. Johnny Sack's daughter's wedding episode. No. When he beats the shit out of a fucking driver. I can't wait for them all to fucking die. Vito got caught, which is probably, it's sad, but it's probably one of the funniest fucking scenes I've ever seen in my entire life. That fucking biker gay bar was hilarious.
Well, I keep watching. It's the second time in a row I bailed at the
where you at?
Season 5. I just bailed. I'm like, this starts to suck. It's sad. I hate everybody.
Yeah, you hate everybody. That's the thing. And I also hit that wall, but my wife and I have nothing to watch besides Mushroom Zombies. So like, I just we bang out a couple episodes, and then we both get sick of it. Like 2 episodes, and then we're both like, let's put something else on. I don't know if I can watch these fucking. It was funny when they said pass over the Gavadil, and I looked at my wife and I was like, you know what they're saying there, right? She's like, what? Cavatelli. The Gavadil.
I've never watched the last episode. I've watched the show 3 times. I've fizzled every single time. I just don't care by the end.
Wait, there's a last episode? I thought this is currently airing.
I do like.
Oh God, I fucking hate them so much. Go ahead, Chris.
I do love the fact that they have a man who is a homosexual and he's hiding it from his contemporaries, for lack of a better way to put it. Peers. When they find out that he's a homosexual,
I don't know yet what happens to him, so please don't tell me.
But you've seen them when they find out.
I only saw the 2 guys that catch him in the bar.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You caught him. Not only did they find like it's like if you're a homosexual, you're sucking dick in a parking lot in the morning and hanging out at S&M biker bars. There's no middle ground here.
Nope.
like it just so happened that like this, I'm not even going to say it, but this guy is, just like, it's not like, oh, he has a relationship with another man and he hides it. And maybe we saw him out on a date. He kissed the guy on the way home. No, this guy is just like fucking old man, pedal to the metal, partying like you wouldn't fucking believe.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just
he's having a good old time. Vito.
Yeah, he's having a good old fucking
he
time.
is a piece of shit. They all are.
Oh,
I don't feel too bad for them.
No, neither do I.
I feel bad for the fact that he has to live the way he does, but fuck them all. They all need to die. I hate them all.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it's all right, Brandon.
That's why they're the last race that we can make fun of.
Absolutely.
The Sopranos just rattled everybody.
So Chris, Chris, you're a huge James Bond fan, correct? Admit
Yeah.
this. Yes, huge fan.
Yes.
I personally cannot stand the movies. I think they're just the old ones are just too cheesy.
Yeah, I get it.
We were watching Moonraker at work.
Oh God,
Oh my God,
it's terrible.
it's the fucking gondola scene
It's horrible.
where
I don't watch it.
Oh my God, where he's got a gondola. He is James Bond gondola that turns into a hovercraft.
Mhm.
But I was watching with no noise, so it just said speaking Italian, yelling in Italian. So we were just going, "Hey, Gabaduciccio, hey, Sabadero, hey!" It's good stuff. It's funny stuff.
So, if
The last race we can make fun of. Go ahead.
So let me. The original James Bond movies are difficult to watch in modern times. First of all, they're cheesy as fuck. Second of all, he's kind of a rapist.
Yeah, he totally is.
In the book, he's painted as a piece of shit because he does these things.
Right, he's not romanticized.
No.
What about the Roger Moore ones? Brandon, are you a James Bond fan at all? Have you?
I do not like James Bond in the slightest. I was
No,
trying
I
to think about that as you guys were talking. I was like, I don't know if even at a young age I realized that I wasn't going to be getting PUSSY like that. I was just like, this shit is not for me. This suave sharpshooter.
I'm not a fan either. I don't.
Just doesn't have
I love
anything to do with
I know
me.
you do. I know you do. And I'm not knocking you for it. I just
Yeah.
you can recognize the things that I hate and find
Oh, yeah.
enjoyment in. And I
I
can't
find
stand it.
enjoyment
exactly.
in them. Exactly.
Right. But
Like,
with the Roger Moore, just to finish my point, with the Roger Moore ones, it's more tongue in cheek. The whole thing. I mean, they're going to a fucking space station,
Mhm.
and Jaws dies in the space station with a girl from Sweden with the Sweden ponytail. Like, what the fuck? He's in love.
Yeah, but she's got braces.
She's got braces like him. She's
Like
got metal
him.
teeth like him.
Mhm. Like Richard Kiel, yeah, that's one of the things. And I sit here, so I'll never forget. I'm watching James Bond. I think I was in my teens, or maybe I was just up there, but I was at my mother's house, and she was in the kitchen, and somebody offers some champagne, and
Cooking the Gavadil, by the way.
and he goes, "Only if it's served the proper temperature, if it's 14 degrees centigrade." And I hear from the kitchen, "Oh, fuck you." And that's how I watch them now.
That's good. You need that. You need that note to just change everything.
Oh, yeah. Like,
I mean, that's what I'm watching.
Oh,
Like,
fuck you.
what an asshole he is.
there is the guy I was watching with was like, there's a YouTube clip that pieces together every time in James Bond something crazy happens and there's someone drinking alcohol, and then they go and look at the bottle and look at what's going on and then throw the bottle over their shoulder. It's like an ongoing joke in every fucking.
Is it? I never even noticed that.
Oh, this is crazy. It must be the wine. Gavadil.
Man.
James
I
Bond.
was going to mention when you brought up the speaking in Spanish thing, 50 Cent, who I follow on Instagram and I still find to be pretty funny. He was posting Bad Bunny won a couple Grammys, to bring it somewhat wrestling related. And as he was singing, the subtitles were just speaking in non-English,
Dude, that's on Hulu.
during
on
the
Hulu.
Grammys. And he was
It's gotta
posting,
be watching it
what
on
the
Hulu.
fuck is this? This is the biggest artist in the world. Speaking in non-English. He's like, figure this shit out.
They do that on movies. They do it in movies on fucking Hulu.
Crazy.
It says speaking in non-English. What the fuck?
Speaking
What?
in non-English. He's like,
Put it. Oh my god.
Disney owns that fucking thing.
What, Hulu?
Yeah. Can't
Who
they do better? Jesus.
Last of Us. How you doing, Brandon? You all right?
I love it.
All right.
I think it's awesome. That's why I brought up the PS4 thing. I was going to pitch to you. If you're busy for a couple of days, let me rent that thing off you and play those video games.
Yeah.
I want to play it so bad, but I don't want to buy a PS4.
What do you have? Do you have a PS5 or do you have an Xbox?
I'm an Xbox guy. I was a Halo kid.
I was recommended to play the game. They were like, if you could play it in front of your wife and she'll have a fucking blast, like watching a movie.
Did you ever play it?
No, I've never played. I don't play horror games. I'm too easily
okay.
spooked by horror games.
You want to play it? I was going to say, I'll make you a deal. I'll buy the remastered. You let me rent the thing. I'll send them both back to you.
What? I'm not. What? You can't. No, you can't borrow my PS4. Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah,
No, I
exactly.
fucking use it
Exactly,
every
man.
day. I run all my apps through it.
God damn it.
No, you're shit out of luck. Dude, how am I supposed to keep track and find out whether or not Mei Shizuki is going to win?
That's why I said you
my
use it that
tournament.
often. You're like, man, I don't know. Every once in a while, if I
I thought you meant playing games. No, I use it every day. That's what we use. Max, Disney, Netflix, YouTube, everything's wrong.
All right.
Suddenly you become insulting when things didn't work out in your
I haven't done that in a while. I haven't done that since Saturday night.
fucking bitch, you're such a pussy.
I talk about PS4. Don't usually use that much.
All right. Thanks for joining us this week. Join us here every week at Wrestling is Hard. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at @hard4 Wrestling. Subscribe to follow. Tell your friends. For Brandon and Chris, I'm Jim. We will be back here next week.